Yeah, so I Google it, and sure enough, I'm like, oh my god, I just told the writer producer Bruce Almighty that his movie sucked, and that the sequel is not going to be good. I'm just trying to tell you how huge of a fan I am of this little trio podcast you got going on.
I love it.
Yeah,
Well, we're happy to have
Love it.
you. We're happy to have you on the show. So
I'm honored.
everyone, welcome to another episode of Not Exactly Experts. Today we're kind of going back to some of our early roots. We have a guest on today, so excited for that. Irvin Dinkle, a new avid listener of our podcast. So excited to talk some other topics of maybe things we've discussed in the past. But for this episode, we want to talk about what you're an expert in and what we're not, and that's the hospitality and hotel industry. So definitely looking forward to an exciting episode. Irv, as we all call you, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thank you. I'm extremely honored to be here. It's like meeting it's like meeting a celebrity that you know that you get a chance to. You three are just epic.
You are the celebrity, my friend, on this show. You are the celebrity.
That's right.
Please.
Yes, you are the expert, and so obviously I want to get into it because obviously 2020 pretty much shut down for travel. Okay, people couldn't go out, they couldn't go, they couldn't travel, couldn't go to hotels and all this, or if they did, it was extremely limited. So a lot of people, and I don't know, maybe Irv, you can point this out. I think people are expecting travel to really, hopefully, skyrocket in 2021. What have you heard, or what are some things that you have received word on? It's like, hey, this might happen. We now have to prepare for it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely came to a halt. Shortly after around like mid March this last year, and it's kind of been gradual since then. Like for instance, in Denver where I work, we were slammed from probably May of this last year until I'd say October, maybe November, and we got a lot of local travel. So I mean, almost every single weekend we were close to sold out, and it was all families just like I got to get out of the house, or actually, there's a lot
Staycations.
of yeah, it was a lot of husband and wives who were like, kids are at home with the oldest daughter, and mom and dad are getting away from the kids. So, I from what I'm seeing at multiple hotels in in the company I work for, we are. I mean, we're prepared for this year to pick up and get back to kind of the way things were. Currently here in Savannah, Georgia, and we're in an off season, about to enter a really busy season, and we're already seeing that on the books. And so, from a standpoint of that, it's starting to pick up. It's really great to see. Restaurants are allowed to open, so it's awesome. So
Dude, you're in
What
Georgia.
would
yeah,
Where
yeah,
where have you not worked?
that's Kansas City. I mean, you want me to name all the places I haven't worked, Rusty?
I'm just
I mean,
name the ones that you have, because I feel like you've been all over the dang place.
okay. So I guess I started in Denver. Then I did a stint in St. Thomas in the Caribbean for about a year and a half. Then I went back to Denver for about a year and a half. Then St. Louis, and then from St. Louis to Little Rock, then Little Rock back to Denver. And if things go right, in about 12 hours, I will find out whether or not I'm moving to Savannah, Georgia. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
So when
yeah.
this
So
airs, it's going to
might
be
be-
official, one way or the other.
I might be a Georgian. I just don't know
Yeah.
how I feel about that. I'll be wearing this hoodie all the time. But yeah,
Heck yeah.
So what would you what is some piece of advice that you would give people who haven't traveled in a long time now wanting to get out of the house? And obviously you've been in the mountain, you've been in the Rockies, now you're in Georgia, and now probably you might be moving to Georgia.
yeah.
What would be some piece of advice that you would tell people who are now getting ready to maybe get out of the house for the first time in a year? Some things they should prepare for, be wary of, crossing state lines, kind of stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So I think the first thing you should do is really kind of ask yourself personally, what is your comfort level with traveling? You have some people who are, who are fine without masks and coverage, and then you have people who are really, really sensitive to the idea of being around people and whether or not they feel safe. So I think the first thing you need to do is make sure, like, what is your comfort level? Are you okay being in a restaurant with 25% occupancy? Fantastic. Look at what the restrictions are in the area that you're in. So, I'll go to Denver, Colorado, for instance. Denver County currently is they're like threat level, terror level colors for COVID, and we are currently at code yellow. That changed within the last week. Code yellow from code orange, which now allows restaurants to be at 25% occupancy indoors. And that goes from code orange, which was no occupancy indoors. So, you know, that's the first thing you want to do is find out what your comfort level is. And then I would suggest looking at where you're planning on traveling and really look at what hotels you're going to be staying at. Call and ask questions about what is it like in the lobbies? How do you get to and from your room? Do you have to wear a mask? What precautions are you taking? And just really find out, are you going to feel comfortable there? That's the first thing, because I think the thing I hear most from guests is that they come in and they don't feel safe, or they feel like the restrictions aren't enough, and everyone's following the restrictions set by the city guidelines. And so I think that's the biggest thing you can do to prepare yourself.
You brought up calling the hotel, which brings up a question that I've always wanted to know. And maybe I'm just an idiot. Like, I always book online. Like, I always use hotels.com because I have a profile, and usually I get a free stay, every 10th
Yeah.
stay. Is it better to do that, or should I call the hotel directly?
I think it depends on when you're booking. I think if you are booking last minute and you want to use a third party, they have good deals. And when I say last minute, I mean like, Rusty, you are pulling off of I-70 into Denver, and you're like, I'm stopping wherever I can to get in a room. Booking
Yep.
third party is great. If you're planning a vacation, I always recommend booking directly with the hotel because it gives you more flexibility. If you need to cancel, change your arrival date, arrive a day early, arrive a day later, you can call the hotel, and depending on what type of rate you booked, you can get those changed. But when you book third party, it's pretty much, I mean, it's like when you book an airline ticket third party. I mean,
Yep.
that's your date. You prepaid.
You're
It's already,
locked.
yeah, you're locked. So
See, yeah,
yeah, man.
and that's happened to me before too. So
Yeah.
it's
And then you call the
frustrating.
hotel and you complain to the front desk agent, and the front desk agent's like, you booked third party, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Then you get mad at him, and you're mad at the wrong guy, Rusty.
I know. Say, don't you know who I am? I'm not exactly expert.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I'm like one of three hosts.
You're with
So,
who,
so
sir?
you've been
Yeah.
so Irv, and I know you have been in the hotel industry for a long, long time. Like, what would you say has been some of the biggest changes that you've seen when you started to what you have going now? Because obviously, I think when you started, really booking online wasn't super big, but now I think
Yeah.
it's obviously gotten way, way bigger than what it
Mhm.
was when you first got into it. So, what are some other big changes that you have seen being in this industry?
Oh man, I think the biggest change that I've seen is I don't even know how to explain it. So when I first started in hotels, I had just moved to Denver, and I was working for a high end luxury brand, which I'm not allowed to say the name of. I've learned, but when I started, um, people would walk in, and you would know right away that, like, these people have money, and so you can tell, like, and especially being downtown, you have to be careful. Like, we have people from, like, we were right across the street from the Greyhound, so we had some what we call urban campers that would want to come into the hotel, and you'd identify that. You'd say, hey, are you checking in? No, okay, you need to leave. Like, you could do that stuff, but then between like 2010 and 2015, all of a sudden everyone, even if you were super wealthy, just got super casual, and all of a sudden you're just like, "Hey, sir, you can't wander in the hotel." And they're like, "Oh, I'm checking in." Oh, cool. Oh, it turns out that guy's got our most expensive room, and he looks like he's been sleeping on the street for 3 weeks. And so, and that's I guess that's a funny way of saying, like, just business got really casual. Like, people would be coming in, and even business travelers, they're no longer wearing a suit and tie. They're wearing jeans and sometimes a jacket. If not, they wear what we call the Colorado Blazer, which is a North Face coat. And so and it's changed too in the appearance. I started off, I was wearing a suit and tie all the time, every day of the week, and now I'm in blue jeans with like a jacket, like a blazer, but no tie, top button undone. And that's as director of ops. I mean, that was unheard of 10 years ago.
Is that because you're at a different hotel chain now, or is the one you were previously at, that luxury high end one, also following the similar suit?
They're following similar suit. If you look at the hotels, they're changing kind of the decor. It's much more of a casual atmosphere. I think the term that they coin is refined yet relaxed service. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Are you telling me that if Post Malone walked in the hotel, you might kick him out?
Post Malone, I'd have to think off the top of my head who Post Malone is. I can't even think.
He's a
You
rapper.
don't even know who Post Malone is?
How do you not?
Just Google
Jeez,
it.
Grandpa. Yeah, how do you not know who Post Malone is?
Can't spell crap without rap.
He would be the one that
Oh,
walks
man.
in with like a torn T-shirt and like hadn't done his hair in 2 years, like just
I'll be
rough
honest
looking.
with you. If Post Malone came to a hotel I was at, I'd know he was coming in probably 3 to 4 weeks beforehand and already be prepared for the arrival. So no, I
There
wouldn't.
you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Who is?
There you go.
So,
That's
okay,
a planned
all right,
arrival.
So it's a planned. So, what would you say? Has there anybody that has had a planned arrival that you have actually been starstruck? It's like, oh my gosh, that's so and so.
Yeah, I've had a couple. My first summer working in Denver, there was a few groups, music groups that came through that I really was starstruck about, and
Britney Spears.
yeah. I wish. Rusty brings up a good point. We shared a locker in middle school, and we may or may not have had our locker caked in Britney Spears memorabilia.
Who didn't?
Yeah,
She was it back then.
Oh yeah, Rusty liked the music. I was into.
Oh yeah, I bet he did.
I was into the.
I don't even know what she looked like.
Yeah, Rusty didn't.
So
It's like, who's this chick?
So like, so those bands, they check in, they come into the hotel. So now, do they just kind of have people surround them and they just kind of beeline towards the elevator and they get to the room, or do they actually? Are they actually like normal people who come up to the front desk? Hey, we're Metallica. We're here. We're checking in.
No, yeah, most groups they're 99% of the time they are pre-checked in, keys ready to go. The bus pulls up, and then someone representing the group will come into the lobby, grab the keys, and then they'll hand them, and then you'll see them walk through the lobby kind of casually. And then
You don't have them go through
throughout
the back door, like in the kitchen or anything?
I have, yeah. I mean, we've had some because when word gets out, where people are staying, then you tend to get, you get autograph seekers and things like that.
Yeah.
So
We have that same problem. We can't let anybody know where we're going.
Beating them off with the broom, aren't you, Rusty? Just having to. But
That would be tough today with social media too. Like, I just feel like people's whereabouts is so much more easily broadcasted than even 10 years ago.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And, so it wasn't anything that became like a major problem, but, we had some groups that would, or just some celebrities that they would want to be low key. And so we'd walk them through the back of the house and into the loading dock. And then that's where their limo would be. And yeah.
So
Now, would that be your job? Would you be the person to escort them, or is that somebody else?
So most hotels that have that, they have, like, we had a security team, and that's who would escort them. But a couple times though, I've been pulled as since I was a leader and they needed additional support, I would help with that. So
I'm curious for everyone, and I think, or if you can answer this question, because we won't limit it to just hotels, so we won't know if it was your hotel experience or if it was just a random one. Who is the most famous person y'all have met randomly? Not like, maybe you go to a basketball game and there's obviously, famous people playing there, for example, but like just like who have you run into out on the streets or maybe just got lucky and sat next to at a basketball game? I guess maybe that could count. Who's the most famous person you've ever like been next to or been by? I have a feeling Irv's is going to be way cooler than ours.
Okay. So
Mine,
I'll
I can tell you
go.
mine.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Mine is
Brittany?
No. God. Mine was Jason Whitlock. So, Fur might not know who that is. Maybe
I'm
Irv doesn't know
Googling.
either. Do you know?
I'm doing the same
I
thing
know
as I
Jason
casually
Whitlock.
pull out my phone.
He worked.
Yeah.
He covered the Chiefs for the KC Star for a long time. Now I think he works for.
He's on ESPN now, or Fox
Yeah.
Sports. He's on Fox Sports.
I think
now.
it's Fox Sports. Yep.
And he's a writer. Yeah, he's
He's a writer. Usually has wild opinions about all sorts of stuff. But I interned for the Chiefs one year, and I of course had like a press badge, so I could go to every single game because I helped with the pregame setup with audio and stuff. And one game, I was like, I just want to see what it's like to sit in the press box and watch a game. I went up there. There's an open seat. I did not know who he was at the time. I go over there and I'm like, can I sit by you? And the only thing he said to me was, did you shower?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Sat down and watched. It was a terrible experience. I would never tell you to go watch it from the press box because you cannot cheer. Like literally, if there's a touchdown or anything good happens,
That's a
there's
good
no
point.
cheering.
Yeah.
It was not a good atmosphere.
Jarrett,
pretty cool.
how about yours?
So mine was country singer Neil McCoy, and he had actually walked into the Colby Walmart, and he walked in, and he was wearing a Terrell Owens jersey. I can hear you guys googling him right now. so he walked in, and I was with Big John, and as I was like, oh, is that Neil McCoy? and so I was just like, I swear to God, that's Neil McCoy. Like I was like, I know it is. Like
Big John's
I
like,
swear
who's that?
Well, he had no idea. So I'm like, I swear that's Neil McCoy. And I'm like, John, yell his name, see if he looks. And so John goes, Neil. I look. Did he look? And I'm like, no, he didn't look. And so as we walk out, there's this tour bus, and so it's this huge. And so he came out. Oh my God, the nice. And the thing is, like he was so nice. Like he signed every person's autograph that was in Walmart.
Did you
Like,
get his
everybody
autograph?
I did. We stood outside his tour bus, and the people in his group were like, oh, you guys want? Oh, I mean, you guys don't have anything. Would you guys want a picture for him to sign? They're like, yeah. So I went in the tour bus, brought out pictures. He came out, and of course we hung out like a bunch of weirdos, just laying back on his tour bus.
That's when you know
out.
you're not that famous.
Yeah.
When random people can just hang out on the tour bus.
Yeah, well, we weren't in the tour bus. We were outside, but he was such a nice guy, and he, we found out his daughter was going to Texas A&M. Obviously, he was wearing a Terrell Owens Cowboy jersey, so I was even
You
a
were
bigger fan.
you were on cloud nine.
I was on cloud nine but the thing is like, man, I know like 3 of your songs. Like, you don't really make a lot of hits, but like
I don't even think I know any.
Billy's got his beer goggles on.
Yeah, you're still not proving a point.
All she's got to do is
Give me that wink.
My God, that's
Okay,
that's
the
the
Wink.
name
I
of it.
do know Wink. Okay.
yes. I think
Can't
he's got
spell
a
crap
couple of
without
others.
country.
You just use that you can't do that for 2 genres, man.
I sure as heck can.
I'm trying to think. I want to say there's one other major celebrity that I've seen, but like not that close to.
Must not have been very memorable.
Not that close.
I was on an airplane with Bobby Hurley.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Basketball
like I
coach.
entered. Well,
Oh,
I know. Yeah, he played for Duke. I mean, like when
Yeah.
I was working for Imperial, I mean, like I introduced a lot of bands. Like I introduced CCR, so like I rubbed elbows with them. I
That's
introduced
cool.
Theory of a Dead Man. So when they were walking up, shook their hands. But I never conversed with them.
Yeah.
So I've met, I've met a lot of bands, but it was just like, oh, here's so and then as we're walking by, like, hey, good luck, something like that. So, but other than that, it's Neil McCoy is mine.
What about you,
that's pretty
Fur?
cool.
So she's somewhat famous. Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy. So Ellen Pompeo.
Somewhat famous. She's like one of the wealthiest actresses on TV.
Okay.
I thought
This speaks to the story. So I was with a colleague in New York, and we were at a hotel and riding down the elevator, and we got to the bottom floor, and as we're coming off, she's standing there waiting to get on, and I wouldn't even have noticed it, but my colleague I was with was freaking out, just like, oh my God, that's Meredith Grey. She's like, or Ellen, can I have your autograph? And just like super starstruck. And I was just like, finally put two and two together. I was like, oh yeah, that does look like her. So that would be the I guess the most famous person I've ever come in close contact with. But I don't know
Was
if
she
I've ever.
nice? Did she give or give your colleague the autograph?
She did not. I thought she was with her daughter, and so.
So
I
set a
can
good
understand.
example. Set a good example.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
That's almost like DeMarcus Lawrence.
It's not quite as bad as DeMarcus Lawrence.
True.
I mean, those people probably get asked for autographs and stuff. I mean, obviously, she's a very recognizable, for most people, a very recognizable face. Just because all the years she's been on Grey's Anatomy. So I'm sure she gets asked for autographs all the time. Maybe a little more than Neil McCoy or whoever that guy was. Irv, I'm most curious to know about yours. Like,
It's funny because I mean, like you said in personal life. I mean, if I listed at work, I mean, it would be, the list would be really long. But so I'm actually gonna go with a semi-personal life. I was in Colby, Kansas, and I was working at the Quality Inn at the time. And this guy pulls up to the Quality Inn and asks me to use the Wi-Fi, and it was Tom Shadyac, and I know none of you know who that is, so I'll tell you who he is. He is the director producer of Bruce Almighty 1 and 2. So he's the guy that like wrote. But this is why it's funny though, because this dude pulls up, looks like a hippie, just long hair down to his back, driving a Subaru that's loaded full. Like I thought he was from Colorado. Just typical Colorado hippie. And he says, "Can I use your Wi-Fi? I need to download a preview." And I'm like, "That's weird. Yeah, you can use the Wi-Fi." And he's having problems downloading it. And he keeps coming up to me. He's just like, "Man, the Wi-Fi is not working well." And I was like, "Well, it's not. I mean, it's Wi-Fi for like surfing the web. I don't know how great you're gonna, download a video." This is also 2004, guys. So remember that.
Okay.
So anyways, I finally am like, "Well, what are you trying to download? Do you want to maybe email it to me and I'll try?" And he's like, "Well, it's a preview for a movie." And I'm like, "What movie?" And he goes, "The sequel to Bruce Almighty." And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Was Bruce Almighty good enough to demand a sequel?" And he was like, "You didn't like Bruce Almighty?" "Oh yeah." He's like, "You didn't like Bruce Almighty?" And I was like, "I mean, it was a C if I had to give a grade. I don't know. Why are you asking me this? That's weird." And he's just like, "Well, I directed it." And I'm like, "Bullshit." Yeah, so I Google it, and sure enough, I'm like, "Oh my God, I just told the writer-producer of Bruce Almighty that his movie sucked and that the sequel is not going to be good." Yeah, and so that's
And you were right. And you were right.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Google
Evan
right
Almighty
now.
was terrible.
I did. He must like Jim Carrey, so he did Ace Ventura, Bruce Almighty, Liar Liar. I can't believe you told the director
Yeah.
of Bruce Almighty that his movie was a C.
Oh, yeah. Well, because it was.
Patch Adams. Wow.
I mean, come on, Bruce Almighty.
Why is he going to Quality Inn to get Wi-Fi?
Because he legit was driving across country and got a call saying, "We're done editing. We've got the first trailer up." And he was like, "I have to pull over and watch it. I need to see what it looks like." And he was on his way through and happened to be in Colby.
He saw the wheat Jesus and thought there has to be Wi-Fi here.
God, was that up in 2004?
I don't think it was yet.
I mean, like. And did you say
the
weed?
wheat Jesus.
Did you say weed, Jesus?
I said wheat.
I heard weed.
All right,
Wheat.
can I talk now? No,
Let me
I'm kidding.
finish.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Pet peeves. I freaking cannot stand. What is the deal with charging for internet at like high-end hotels? I feel like your average Joe's, your Motel 6 where they leave the light on, and your Super 8s, their Wi-Fi is free. How come all the high-end hotels where I'm paying uber amounts of money, I have to also pay for freaking Wi-Fi? Like, that should be a commodity.
Yeah. I feel like you and I have actually talked about this already, and but I'll give you the same answer that I had there. When you go to a Super 8 or a Quality Inn, like, you have one person checking you in and that's it. They hand you your keys, you go to your room. But when you go to like high-end luxury hotels, you've got bellman, doorman, you have concierge to recommend like where you're gonna go and stuff like that. And I know that everybody has this perception that hotels, your rate is higher. Like if you go to Denver, you're paying $250 for a room rate, but that only goes so far in paying for the extra services that come with the employees on there. So I get it. It's super
Who
frustrating.
doesn't use Wi-Fi at this point, though? So include it into the price of the night, and then just market that we have free Wi-Fi. Like, nobody wants to pay for Wi-Fi.
Use your hotspot on your phone.
Yeah, you can do that.
Some people could.
Yeah,
Some people could
do that. No, I mean I get it, and I understand. You know, a lot of hotels now are transitioning, and I'm sure you love this. They're transitioning to the amenity fee. I mean, when was the last time you stayed at a hotel like in a city? For many of you guys, when was the last time?
It's been a while for me.
It's been a couple years.
It's been
couple
about
2 years.
Okay.
Been about a year. Yeah.
So here's what a lot of hotels are starting to do, and I'm actually all for it because I think it adds a huge value to the stay. But for instance, 2 hotels that I've worked at recently, they charge an amenity fee, and it's a little bit pricey. It's $25 a night that you pay for this amenity fee, and it's non-negotiable and everything, but it comes with all these extra things. So right now, for instance, at a hotel I've worked at, you get Wi-Fi included in that fee. So that's your $12 that you normally pay. That's included in that $25. They serve coffee at the front desk, and I'm not talking like, black cup of coffee. It's like cappuccinos, lattes, espresso shots. All of that's included, no limit. They do breakfast pastries like muffins, croissants, and from 3 to 6 p.m. they do beer, wine, and sparkling wine. No limit. Have all you want as long as you don't get cut off. And all that's included in that $25 fee. And that's what a lot of hotels are going to now in the future. So I think
It's pretty nice.
by mandating everybody has to pay for it, it's a challenge in itself. But when you really look at what comes with it, it's way more valuable than what you would get. I mean, heck, you have 3 glasses of wine right there. You're gonna be paying $35 at a bar anyway.
Oh yeah.
So
I like that.
What got you into the hotel industry? Like, what got you interested in, like, this is what I want to do for a career? And then what has kept you in it for these 10, 15 years?
I got into it when I was in high school, and I was working at the front desk at the Quality Inn for a great man named Jay Hawk. I say that because he's actually really awesome. But I realized that I just enjoyed it. Like it was something I was naturally good at, just being at a front desk, trying to make small talk with complete strangers. I had fun doing it. And so I realized that, I kind of wanted to do hotels. And then when I was in college, I was at Colby, CCC.
Trojan for life.
Susan, yeah, Trojans for life, man. I tell you. Susan Murdoch got me an internship. I knew I wanted to do hotels, but I didn't know what. And then Susan Murdoch got me an internship at a high-end luxury hotel up in Bachelor Gulch, up in mountains in Colorado. And I didn't even know properties like that existed. And so as soon as I went there, I was like, "This is where I need to be." And so that's when I moved to Denver and got a job with that brand, and just grew from there. So
Now, so can you now? So it does sound like that you have worked the majority with higher end hotels. Is that just is that just kind of where your career has taken you, or is that something that you can actually pursue? Is like, well, I just kind of want to focus on like Motel Sixes and Motel Eights, instead of
mhm.
like, well, I want to focus now on the 4 and 5 star resorts.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to be where it's like the
I
nicest?
don't know, dude. It's just some people's preferences. Get off my back.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah.
you bring up a very good question, Jared, because there's so many venues like I've found as my career has progressed. So I was first with the brand property, and that property had all these hotels worldwide, and it came with this corporate background and structure and stuff. And when I was in my early 20s and even mid 20s, that I was wanting to climb the corporate ladder, and that's what I wanted to do. And then I got a job at an independent boutique hotel that was completely different style, much smaller, but still wanting to provide that same level. And then I found that's what I really liked. I liked the independent boutique. There's people that prefer to have like resident in hotels where you have like the kitchenette and everything. Like that's a whole nother challenge to manage and run compared to a full service city property or even a full service resort property. Like when I went to St. Thomas, I learned that I do not like resorts. They are the worst hotels, in my opinion, to work at. They're awful,
Why?
just absolutely. Because you're literally like, if you mess up, you ruin people's vacations, like, and they let you know that. I mean, like if
But
a stay goes bad, it's like you're ruining my vacation. It's like I'm so sorry. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I really apologize that you feel like your stay was bad, but in a city property, they're there for a day and a half, and it's just I feel like it's easier to manage and run. So business travelers are efficient, so you just have to be efficient as an operation.
Okay,
So
I got you. I
Gotcha.
got you. So what are some? So obviously, working in a hotel industry, you have to have some horror stories. Like the cleaning crew went in, and the place was just covered in underwear. Like they just or this like we went in there that
sounds like a horror story.
underwear.
or like we
Yeah.
like or like we went in
What
like
kind of weirdo has that much underwear at a
I don't know
hotel?
like
It's
I don't
like
know some underwear
Saying
man
it's
that,
like
take wall
blood on
to
the
that
walls.
just has like
take the wall to
500
wall.
pairs of underwear and just covers it and just like see you later.
Jesus.
Or like you go in and like everything is gone. Like they took the mattresses. Like so I'm assuming
Yeah.
you have to have some absolute horror stories. I want to hear top 5. I want to hear like some
Top
some.
five? I
I
can't
I
come up with top five.
Just
just
do
give,
your favorite.
just give me some because I want to because I know how I am when I check in a hotel room. Because I mean I'm an
Yeah.
animal. I'm a filth monster when I check in a hotel room, and so like I want to hear that somebody has done way worse than what I've ever done.
Oh yeah, I mean, gosh, I don't. It's hilarious because it's like, had you asked me this when I was 22 and in the industry for a year, I'd have been like, oh yeah, I got five for you. But that line of what has shocked me has moved so beyond what I would consider to be shocking. I think one of the craziest was I had a guy one time. Security came to me and was like, "Hey Irv, I need you to come up to this room with me. The guest is supposed to be gone, but there's people still up in the room, and we got it like, and it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, mind you. Like this is past checkout time, so I'm like, yeah, I'll go up there with you. Yeah, whatever. So we knock on the door, and the guest who's in the room is already gone, but there's still other people there, and we open the door because we don't hear anybody, and all we do is we get the door halfway open and we hear a thud, and there's just this lady who has passed out on the floor on the other side of the door, and we we start like turning the lights on, and I mean like this guy had a fun night because ladies just kept coming out of nowhere. Like we got the lady behind the door woken up, and all of a sudden this lady from the other side of the couch lifts her head up and looks at us, and then this lady from the office in this suite comes walking out and is like, "What's going on?" And then this lady in the bedroom comes walking out. I mean, there's like 6 women total in this room.
This guy's popular.
Was it Tommy
Yeah, and
Lee
then-
who stayed in the hotel room? Like, who
Oh,
was
dude,
this
I'm
guy?
telling you. And then like I'm looking at the coffee table in the living room, and there's like, and this is before weed is legal in Colorado, and there's like an ounce of weed, not in a bag, just a mountain pile, and then a very large pile of a powdery white substance that I
Powdered
think
sugar.
we all know, love,
Powdered
and
sugar.
enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pancake
It's
mix.
splendid.
Yeah, pancake.
Yeah. And I just remember like standing there, and the security supervisor was just like, "Irv, I gotta go downstairs and start logging all this stuff into security. Can you wait up here while these ladies find their stuff and leave?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll hang out here while they," because they all were, I was like 22 years old, and I'm looking around the room like, this is the best job ever.
Okay, so in a situation
Go ahead.
like that, so now you're like, okay, this guy obviously has had illegal substances. Do we turn this over to the authorities, or is he just long gone? Did he just get away with it?
Yeah, what happens when
Oh,
you do find something illegal in a hotel room?
If we find it, like, if it's something illegal that is like, if it's after the fact, it's like a judgment call type thing. Like, in Denver, Colorado, you find marijuana in the room all the time. Like, nothing's gonna happen with that. But like if somebody checks out though, and let's say they've got a high end printer, and I can see what appears to be shredded up money, I like, okay, these guys are counterfeit printing bills in our hotel room. Like, we're gonna contact the authorities. So there's it's what is considered illegal and what isn't illegal, and we contact the authorities, and we let them decide what they want to do with what we're calling. So
Okay. All right,
anything illegal, we
gotcha.
Naked escorts. We'll
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah, it's just
We're not
like,
gonna call the
yeah.
authorities.
Don't worry about it. We
It's
got it
fine.
here.
well, so yeah, a lawyer would say, "Are you an expert on that, Urban? Like, how do you know that's what they are?" I'm guessing this guy doesn't have this 6 attractive friends like that, but he could. I'm just assuming that's what they were.
Probably a good assumption.
All right, what's
Yeah.
what's another one that stands out?
Oh
Do
man,
you have any that? So that one was kind of like a wild, like surprise. Have you had any where they, to Jared's point, like just straight up stole everything in the room, or like painted the walls, or destroyed anything?
No, I personally haven't, and I think that comes with the where I've worked and things like that. But I have seen at some hotels in Denver where people have gone in, and like I saw an email that went around about being on the lookout, because we get urban campers all the time, and they sneak into the property, and if they find a door open, they'll go in. And there was one guy that went into a hotel and found an open room that wasn't occupied, and just decided, I'm going to slash everything in this room, and like took out his pocket knife and like cut the mattress, cut the furniture, the couch cushions, like expensive wallpaper. I'm gonna slash that. Like, just, oh yeah, and like I could only imagine a housekeeper just like walking into a room that she thought wasn't even occupied the night before, then walks in and just sees all this stuff slashed up, and it's like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you have stuff like that happen, but
You not had anyone like throw a mattress off the roof and found them?
no. I mean,
It only happens in Vegas.
let's be honest. I mean, you know how heavy mattresses are to begin with. Like the idea that someone's gonna get super intoxicated and carry a king size mattress out the front of their hotel room, like, come on, it's a lot of work.
Probably tigers in the bathroom. That's pretty normal,
Yeah,
though, right?
Yeah, no, it's.
So you work with a lot. Obviously, you're high-end boutique hotels, so you work with a lot of high-end clientele. So I'm guessing you get a lot of crazy requests.
I wouldn't say crazy. I wouldn't say crazy at all. We get we get some like I will say like demanding requests as far as like I need A, B, C, and D in the room, and and you've gotta find where you're gonna get this stuff. I mean, it depends on what they're here for and why. We have some group guests where people they'll even be as down to, hey, we have a high profile client coming in who absolutely has to have 3 cans of Pepsi in their room and a box size pack of peanut M&Ms. And you're like, okay, like that's a deal breaker for this guy. Like, you got to have
Are
that.
they bringing them with them?
They're like, it's part of the contract. Like it's in the contract that we have 3 cans of Pepsi and peanut M&Ms in the room upon arrival. And it's like, okay, whatever. Like we'll do that, but yeah, I mean, you get that.
And maybe you can confirm this. I've always heard that that's not really demands from the celebrity or whatever. I've always heard that's just to show that these people are reading a contract. And so that way we can trust this hotel or this venue or this amphitheater or this club, that they know that they're reading the contract. Because when we walk in and we don't see a certain thing that was in the contract, it's like, okay, well, I guess we're not going to use these people anymore.
That would be the first I've heard that. I think that in my experience, the requests that we have been like they're legit requests as far as like they're pretty avid about it. Most travel groups, especially with high end clients, they're gonna know before they even arrive at the hotel whether or not you've been reading the contract and you're on it, because there's so many parts of a contract that when they pick up the phone and they call the hotel and ask to speak to the person in charge, and that person starts talking to them, they're gonna know, like, do they know, like, if they don't know when they're arriving and the time and the details, like they're gonna cancel before they arrive. So it's not, but maybe. I mean, that's pretty interesting.
Nice. I got a question for the entire group, not just to Irv, so it's for everybody. We kind of talked about this before we hopped on, but what do you guys think is the worst part about traveling and sleeping in a hotel? Like, and it obviously could be a lot of things. It could be the fact that most hotels have terrible water pressure. Maybe the pillows and the beds suck. Maybe somehow get athlete's foot on your hands. I don't know. That would be kind of special to fur. But what is it?
Okay, so are we saying just every hotel, or are we just saying just
in general?
Your
What's the worst part?
Your general booking hotel. Like if you're gonna go on a trip next weekend, whatever hotel you're gonna stay in, whatever tier you stay in.
So my thing is, and for some reason this must be hotel wide, that when you walk in and you look at the bed, the pillows are this big. They're ginormous. I'm like, oh my God, this would be great. And then I lay my head down and then they squish to nothing. Like there's no body to the pillow. And so I'm sleeping basically like this. Was like, but the pillow should be supporting my fat head because it was huge.
You bring your own pillows, don't you?
I used to, but then I lost one, and then I don't do that anymore. So
you need to be asking for non-down pillows when you check into a hotel.
I didn't think about that till now. Yeah,
you need to call the hotel before you arrive, and you say, "I want feather-free pillows in my room," and that'll fix that problem.
Wow,
perfect.
There you go. Next.
Problem solved.
Okay,
can you solve the terrible water pressure?
I can, Rusty. It's called spend a little more money and you'll get great water pressure.
There you go.
That's
back at you.
That's tough.
No. I mean,
touche.
I will say. I mean, like I agree with you. I guess so. Your issue is water pressure. I take it. That's
oh, dude, I hate that. Like I have to have a shower in the morning. I'm stupid. Like, even if I'm going to work out first thing in the morning, I have to take a shower because it just wakes me up and just starts my day off. Like, it's part of my routine.
Before you work out?
I'm just saying, it doesn't matter what I do. If I work out or anything, yeah, dude, I have to shower. It's just what I do.
Before?
And
no, he's saying no matter what he does, if he works out or doesn't, he still takes a shower in the morning.
And I would take a shower after I work out again. Like, literally, if I would take a shower, maybe like 2 minutes just to wake my butt up, then go work out and shower afterwards. But I have to shower first thing in the morning. Otherwise, my whole day is off. But that's what it is for me. Like, I like good water pressure, and when you're in a hotel and it's just like falling out of the shower head, I can't
Yeah.
stand it.
Does that happen
Drives me
often
nuts.
to you?
What?
Does that happen often? Like, is that a
The water
like is
pressure.
it like do you
The
have
bad
that
water
happen
pressure?
all the time?
I've
Quite
never
often. I mean,
noticed that.
it's never what I want, I guess.
I mean,
Maybe I'm picky.
How was the
I
water
mean-
pressure at my house?
The basement one is not great.
Rusty. Oh,
I've
man.
never. I don't know if I've ever had an issue with a water pressure.
I like good water pressure. I'm weird.
With
You guys know this.
With the cheaper, I've noticed with the cheaper hotels that the water pressure is pretty much zilch. But with the other, if you just spend just a little bit extra money, then there doesn't.
So now
there
you
doesn't-
know where I stay.
I
When I search on hotels.com, I'm filtering price. Give me the best price.
yeah.
You're at Days Inn and Sleep In.
If it gets a good
I don't
rating.
think water pressure is
Yeah.
an issue at the hotels Irvs works at.
No.
I've never had I've never had the complaint. I mean, there could be a Rusty Healan staying there not saying anything.
Okay.
be.
All right. For complaint.
Oh, for me, have you ever seen the Inside Edition deal where they spray paint their logo or whatever in invisible stuff, and to see how often all these different hotels, how often like the sheets are changed
clean.
and they come back and their logo's still there when they turn the blue light on. I'm a germaphobe. I am always freaking out like, was my sheet changed? And I feel like I've had more time, maybe not more times than not, but like I will find like a long hair or something in the sheets, and I'm like, God dang it, this is freaking used sheet. So yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve, is not knowing if I have clean sheets or not. And I feel like it's maybe a flip of a coin.
Yeah.
Then he figures out it was just Katrina's long hair. And like, what are you freaking out about?
I used to travel a lot for work without her.
I know. I'm just
So-
kidding.
So fur to that point, I can tell you, if you like, I have the same concern when I go to, like, if I'm traveling through, or like I was up in Cupbank, Montana, 2 weeks ago, and I stayed at a Super 8, and like, oh yeah, total concern of mine. But if you're at your higher end, when I say higher end, even, I mean like your downtown hotels and stuff, I with confidence can say your room is absolutely clean, especially the sheets. And with the hair comment, for think about how often people shed just throughout the day, just people, your coworkers. And so even when a housekeeper is in there and they're changing the bed, you find that hair, like, unfortunately, that stinks that they didn't catch it before they made the bed, because they should be checking that. But like, all honesty, that hair probably belonged to the lady that cleaned your room. And
Maybe
and,
so,
you know,
but
and
I
it's
think
not
it's
a
from the person
dirty
the
sheet.
night before.
I totally get it, but I mean, like, I would absolutely be shocked if, I personally would be shocked if there was any hotel out there that was like, remake the sheets into the bed for the next guest. I mean, that is,
Hey, better the hairs in your bed than in your cheeseburger. I'll take that any day.
What's the
Yeah.
story behind that?
I'm just saying, like, if you find a hair in like fast
Oh.
food or something, that's disgusting because it usually goes in your mouth before you find it.
Yeah.
as long as it was
What do
clean
you-
before it was made.
So what do you look for when you go to a hotel? Like, you're obviously a pro at this. So when you stay somewhere, kind of like what you were talking about when you went to Montana, like what are some tips or things to look for to like just get the best deal, make sure, maybe get an upgrade for free? Like, is there anything you can provide our listeners in terms of like some insider tips?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to upgrades, I always say that if you're just wanting to get an upgrade and not necessarily, wanting to pay for it, it never hurts to ask. That's always the first, you got to ask to see if you can get it. Sometimes you'll have agents that'll have a room in there, or hotels are sold out, but they may not always sell the specific upgrade type. So they got to put people in there anyway. So when you check in, always ask. But I think that, if you're going to be traveling to a hotel and you're wanting, let's say for you and Katrina are going and you want to do like a special anniversary thing and all that, I would, when you walk in and check in, ask them if they have any suites available for purchase. Because if they haven't sold the suite yet, but you imply that you would be willing to pay for it, a lot of times you will get a premium room for a discounted price at check-in. And I mean, and that's when it comes into, getting what you really want. Um, but I always tell people, just ask, and always, it's always nice to be friendly. A lot of people are always, just in general, right? In life, people are always willing to help you and go to bat for you if you're just a genuine, friendly person. And I think that goes a long way. So,
So then, I'm glad you brought that up for it. Now, is there a way to? Because as you can tell, I'm not very good with words. So like, how would you? How would you?
Anyone who
Where are you
listens to
going?
this show knows that.
Yeah. How would you approach
I don't talk
that?
good.
Yeah, I may not talk good. So how would you come up to that and you're checking in, and like, how would you phrase that question? Just like, hey, I'm checking in. Like, oh, I see it. This is your room. Then would you just ask, hey, I was just kind of wondering, do you have any suites available? I mean, like, how would you phrase to check if there's an upgrade available and that you would pay, not full price, but like I said, I don't know. You
I
understand the question. I don't know how to word it.
I think the way you said it is just fine. Just
Yeah.
say, like, you literally just walk in and just say, hey, I'm checking in. And when they say, oh yeah, we got you in one of our deluxe king rooms, and you say, yeah, do you have anything larger available?
I'm not letting Fer get out of this one because I brought it up. You got to tell us the story about getting athlete's foot.
I want to hear the story.
Yeah, I don't know what the hotel was, so I can't even throw them under the bus. But it wasn't super high end. But I was going on a work trip down in, I think it was Austin, and I wanted to. I always book my rooms. Like, the first thing I look for is like, who has the best fitness center. Like, I want free weights. I want to make sure they have a pull-up bar. They've got dumbbells, and a lot of hotels don't have that. And so I found one that did, and it wasn't the greatest, but I'm like, the heck with it. It's cheap, so I'll be way under cap, and I can be able to work out. So I start to get on the trip, I start to like get a cold and not feel great, which who knows where I got the cold from. But either way, I start to get a fever and get cold. So I go across the street, get something to eat, hot chocolate and stuff, come back, and I am freezing. And so I crank up the heat. I turn on the shower, and it's just like steam central, just to try and warm myself up. And it, basically did that for most of the evening. The next day or two or whatever, I wake up and I have athlete's feet, not just on my feet, but like on, up my ankles, all over my feet. I have it on my hands. I have athlete's feet on my freaking hands. And I was like, what the heck? And then I realized I made the best breeding environment for a fungus, which was in that hotel room where I turned on the shower, super humid, hot, and just like, man, if you were athlete's foot that day, you were like in prime country, because I've never had it that bad. So maybe it was the hotel. Maybe they didn't clean it well. I don't know if it was on the shower floor where I picked it up originally. I don't know where I got it, but I've never had athlete's feet on my hands, but I did from this hotel.
How long did it last?
It was kind of a while, and honestly, the stuff on my hands, it would almost like hurt, like it was like prickly is the best way to call it. And I'll bet I had it. I for sure had it when I got home, because I showed my wife. She's like, I've never seen that before. And I was like, yeah, me neither.
Did you have hand, foot, mouth fur? No, it's a legit thing. It's a legit thing. It's like a viral infection, and it gives you blistering things on your hands, and kids get
Pretty
it.
common
and they get
for
it on their
kids.
mouth.
Yeah.
It's common for kids.
Maybe I'm looking
I'm
up to see
Googling
what
the
this. I'm
symptoms.
looking up the symptoms right now. So the symptoms, it looks like pain can occur while swallowing, dehydration, fatigue, fever, loss of appetite, blisters, peeling. It wasn't that bad. It didn't have the blisters and the peeling. It was athlete's foot. I know what athlete's foot feels like. I just had it on my freaking hands, which is
That's insane.
That's a first.
You had athletes' hands.
crazy.
That's nice.
Yeah, dude. It's 'cause
So
you're such an
why
athlete
is
for-
that? Why do no hotels have great fitness centers? Like I feel like when I go travel for work, I'm either because you can't come home to family, you can't go see friends, you're basically kind of by yourself. I'm either after work, I'm either working, eating, or working out. Like what else is there to do? Like why are there not better fitness centers in hotels?
I think that's a great question. I don't know if I have the exact answer for that. I mean, most hotels have fitness centers, but I imagine there's probably a conversation that's had about how much space do we want to dedicate that actually isn't going to generate revenue
Yeah, that's
to quote unquote. So, I mean, you look at
throw
a
that
fitness
into the
center,
amenity fee, and I'm all for it. I would guess there's probably a liability piece to some stuff because a lot of hotels you go to, there's like there's a lot of machines where you maybe can't get as hurt as well. Free weights are way less common, and I would assume there's probably a liability piece to it. But
yeah, and most owners, when building a hotel, they would say, okay, let's say we want to do a 3,000 square foot fitness center. Most owners are going to say, try again. Let's do a 1,000 square foot fitness center, and let's build 2 more rooms that we can sell and make money on. So
The average person, though, like the average person, I think that stays at a hotel and is going to go in the fitness center probably doesn't do as strenuous of a workout as you do. Like most of them just want to hop on a treadmill, get on a bike, get on an elliptical, get their sweat on, and then just go back to the room.
those are in every hotel.
Yep.
A
That's probably
treadmill, an elliptical, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like,
Peloton.
if I want to run, I can.
Peloton.
Then that's cool to hear. I
They're
had
getting
read and
popular in
seen
hotels
that.
right now.
Yes,
That's
yes, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But the free weights and pull-up bars are a little harder.
This
to
will
find.
tell you a lot about me. So Fur's mad because not every hotel has a really great fitness center. I want to know why more hotels don't do the amazing cookies like the DoubleTree does. I've booked with them specifically for the freaking cookies.
I think if you want to book with DoubleTree to get a free complimentary quarter cookie, by all means do it.
It's delicious.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I don't have an answer for you on that one, Rusty. I mean, we do cookies at our hotel. We give cookies out.
Are they really
good?
Yeah, they're really good. Well, we do in Denver, our hotel. We do what's called blondies. They're like a vanilla type brownie.
Blondies.
Yeah,
Blondies are
yeah,
good.
we do those, and most hotels offer a cookie. I give you that. DoubleTree cookies are pretty good, but I mean,
I will tell you this:
to make that your trademark, though. Like, come to our hotel.
I guarantee I'm not the only
good.
person that books there for the cookies.
You're not.
I'm sure other people do.
Oh yeah, they do.
What are your top 2, Rusty? So is that your top 2: cookies and water pressure?
Probably. I mean, the cookies I was just making a joke, but water pressure for dang sure. I don't know if I have a second one. Probably pillows. I probably actually would side with Jarrett. A lot of times
so
I get
you
a
guys,
shitty pillow.
you guys are pillows. My pillow thing is I'm big on that too. I started staying in a Hyatt's a lot, and when I'd go to Atlanta, and I just loved the bed and the pillow. Like that
Hyatts
did make a difference.
Yeah.
Well, I would say one big. I mean, you could have the worst bed, the worst bath, and like a stinky chlorine-filled swimming pool. If you have an outstanding breakfast,
Yes,
I'm all in. I'm all in.
Yes,
I'm all
Fitness
in.
center
Yes.
and breakfast,
Yes.
baby. Feed me and let me work out and burn it off. Like that's what I'm all about.
Yep. And don't give me just a little, so here's some cereal
No.
boxes. No. I mean a sausage, egg,
bacon.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
yes,
yeah,
full-
waffles. What's better than making one of those waffles? Like making your own waffle on the little thing that flips. And this shows the hotel I'm staying in. But there's like I don't know. There's some nostalgia or something to it. Like being able to make your own waffle. Which is the last time I made that was the hotel I stayed in had a waffle maker and the waffle was in the shape of a Texas. And
The state of Texas. Yeah, you were in Texas, weren't you?
Had to be.
But they all taste the same. Like that waffle maker and that whatever pancake mix they use? I swear every chain uses the same stuff because, man, they all taste identical.
If I had to guess, were you at a choice hotel in the state of Texas? Was it like a Comfort Inn, Sleep Inn, Days Inn, or
It might have been a
Quality
Best
Inn?
Western. It might have been a Best
Yeah,
Western.
okay.
Is that choice?
No, I don't think so. But the choice hotels are big on the Texas-shaped iron waffle. maker
You're probably
in Texas.
right. I don't remember what one I was in, but it did have a Texas-shaped waffle maker.
Gosh, isn't Texas the worst?
Dude,
Just the,
I
know.
didn't care.
oh, I do.
I labeled myself as a cheap ass earlier, but the most expensive cool place
Yeah, I
I've ever
see
stayed
that,
at
Jared.
was
We get it.
the most expensive cool place I ever stayed at was the Gaylord in Denver.
Ah,
Like,
that's
I was
a
just-
behemoth.
Yeah,
That's a
man.
big
And we were
property.
I just want to do like a getaway for the weekend trip with Courtney, and work was bad. I think we didn't hit our numbers Q1, and I was like, screw it. Let's go spend a little money and just do something we never do. And
Yeah.
went there, and like I had my first massage of my entire life, the only massage I've ever had. So it was an experience. But
Did you like it?
You walk. I did not. It was.
I didn't think
super
so.
awkward. I had an older lady that was the one giving me the massage, and she talked to me the entire time.
Oh,
She would
Yeah,
not
that's
stop
weird.
talking.
They're not supposed to do that. They're not supposed
Like,
to talk
does
to you.
does that feel good?
Oh, she was
like that kind
asking
of
you.
stuff.
Oh, she was asking you if the massage was feeling all
That's
right. Well, they're
okay.
supposed to.
Do you want
that.
it? Do you want it harder?
I
Well,
thought
yeah,
she was
there's
asking
like-
you about the. I thought she was asking you about the game or something.
That's
that
what
day.
I
She's
thought,
like,
yeah.
"What do you do for work, honey?" Like I didn't like it. Just stop.
You're just not a massage
stop.
guy.
I'm not at all.
Did
Don't
they
like-
have? Did they have cookies?
I'm sure.
Not for
I don't
free.
know. Probably
Not
not.
for
Well, if you don't remember, apparently not.
Not for free. The
Dude,
Gaylord doesn't.
you
have
walk
cookies.
into their sports bar, and it's just the biggest screen you've ever seen
Massive.
in your life.
It's like 70
It's
yards.
huge.
It's huge.
It's freaking cool.
God, I have to check this
Yeah,
out.
it's absolutely massive. They charge like $200 to watch the Super Bowl at that bar
I don't doubt it.
because it's so big. Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a cool
Have
resort.
have you guys heard? So Rusty, you obviously have, but Jarrett and Fur, have you heard of the Gaylord, like the brand? There's 5 of them. There's 5 of them in the U.S. I think there's one like in Florida somewhere. I think there's one at Mall of America. There's another one in Dallas or
Dallas,
Austin or
yep.
something. Yeah, and they're like 1,500 room properties, and they're massive atriums with like 5 or 6 restaurants on site, a spa.
Yeah, you never have to leave.
And the idea
Anything
is
you
that
want to do is there.
big companies can bring in 800 of their employees with their families from all over the world, and they stay at this one in Denver, and they're there for a week. They don't leave. There's 2 pools with water slides. Like, it's a massive property. It stresses me out just looking at it.
It's just
Like,
insane.
from an operational standpoint. Like, I looked at their front desk. They have 12 front desk computer stations, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a nightmare.
We even paid for valet. Like, this is how crazy I went that weekend. We did everything. Dang. It was
Oh
nuts.
man, that's set you back $54, I bet.
I think it was like $60 after you do the tip and everything.
so okay. So obviously we've been talking on this podcast about things that we enjoy and things that we didn't like. You know, when we traveled and stayed in hotels and everything. And I know Irv had pointed out that he has become quite a fan of the podcast. And he says that he doesn't really listen to podcasts unless he's really forced to. Well, there was one episode that he said that he particularly listened to that he just found himself just absolutely screaming at. And let's revisit that. So what was it, Irv, that just got you, that made you go from 0 to 100 and just like start texting everyone you know, like, this is BS. This is nonsense. I don't know what you're talking about. This is crazy.
Yeah, it was the airline episode, and you guys were arguing whether or not reclining your seat is, and I quote Rusty, a dick move. And and I have to say, like, I was screaming at the radio, like, if they make it that
At
way,
me.
then it's fine. Like, if the seats are
Thank
made
you.
to recline, then it's okay to recline. And then finally First said that, and I was like, thank God someone said it. I mean, I was so angry. And yeah, I was
I think
like,
my argument was more on if somebody tells you that it's upsetting them, whether it should or not. Like if somebody
No.
said to me, I don't want you reclining in front of me, I'm just going to put it up and not deal with the dumb situation we're going to be put in when I just tell her to F off.
You are team don't ever recline.
yeah, I don't remember that part of it at all. All I remember was
I'm telling you, the behind the scenes story is I'm definitely team don't recline because I just don't see the impact of it, and I would never do it. But
well, you know,
my argument was more about the situation because that's what we were talking about. Was
Do you fly much? Do you fly
not
much? Like
all the time.
Oh man, there's nothing better than even just the 4 inches you get. Like being able to, which by the way,
oh my god, I just had a really funny joke I could make, but I'll
the 4 inches it reclines. I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna keep talking so we can get through this. The 4 inches that it reclines is like game changing when you're exhausting. It's had a long day. Like, how can you not want to recline? I just don't get it. And it's all.
I've flown to Switzerland, which was like a 10-hour flight.
And you didn't recline
once.
the whole time.
Not once.
Why?
It does nothing for me.
Oh man, I ask for a window seat and I recline that seat and I lean against the wall and I am out before the plane even takes
My
off.
problem is I'm uncomfortable no matter how it is on a plane. Like I'm just more wide than most of the seats, and like it's digging into me. And I'm sure Irv and Fur, you guys probably relate to that. Is like I always feel like because I have longer legs, I'm digging into the seat in front of me. Like I'm just never comfortable. And
you should try reclining
back a little bit. No,
Yeah, I was just gonna say
tried it for like 2 seconds. I didn't like it.
Well,
I would never do it.
Rusty, the key is you put your feet under the seat in front of you, and then you recline, and you get that extra it's like a total
You
of
could
8 inches.
stretch.
Yeah, you can stretch your legs.
I pay the extra for the leg room to be in the exit row or whatever.
Look at me, the
That I'm
millionaire
doing.
that can afford to pay upgrades. Like,
It's like $20.
yeah, well, good to know you're doing well, Rusty.
Would you recline well? Would you
I'll write it off.
Would
I'm a
you?
business owner?
What good does that do, by the way? But would you recline if you were in first class?
Would
Would
I?
you recline if you were in first class? Yeah.
Does it go back like all
Yes.
the way?
Yes.
It's like a bed.
Am I going to be in somebody's lap?
It's first class. Don't
If
worry
I'm not
about
in
it.
somebody's lap, then no.
Okay.
I don't want to be a jerk.
So you'd recline if it's not going to hinder or mess with the overall
I mean, it's
joyful
not like
flying
it's
experience of someone behind you.
Yeah.
It's not like in first class,
It's very
like it
thoughtful.
reclines and then the guy behind you is like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" like,
That's what I'm asking. I don't know. I've never flown first class. I don't have $1
haven't
million.
Fair enough.
Was there any other episodes that you listened to Herb that you were like, that's baloney? Like that's a stupid take. Like what are you talking about?
every one of them.
Oh, I know.
We're usually talking
I
about
was
something
like-
stupid.
Was there
I was
anything
like-
else that really kind of stuck out?
I'm trying to think. There's a couple that I text for. Okay, so here's one. Here is
Okay,
one, right?
okay.
Okay, I was driving to Little Rock, and you guys were talking about. I think it was Jarrett. You were talking about. Is it rude to strip the bed at a friend's house or a family's house when you stay there? Do you guys remember that conversation?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you guys all were like, well, I stripped the bed, for them, and then I don't know what someone else said they did. I flat out texted Fur and I was like, the polite thing to do is to make the bed. You remake the bed
That's
because
what I was
then
taught.
yeah, you remake the bed because if you strip the bed, you've just created a chore for that person that they have to do right then and there.
That's true.
Like the bed's,
Yes.
the linen's on the floor,
Yes.
so now I gotta wash it. But
Yes.
maybe I want to do laundry on Monday. But if you make the bed, it at least looks presentable so that they can have their door open and still see it, and then that gives them the choice to
Yep.
wash the sheets when they.
It's
want
easy to strip a bed. It sucks to make one.
That's a very
Sure
good
does.
point. That's a very good
That
point.
was.
So
my
I stayed at
suggestion.
Fur's. I stayed at Fur's after this episode, and I literally went up to him after. Is like, I guess I learned that I'm supposed to ask you if I'm supposed to strip the bed. Do you want me to do that? It felt really awkward.
Yeah, and what I tell you, I don't care.
I don't care. Tony, you
So-
cared in that episode.
when I stayed at First House, I probably spent 15 minutes making the bed downstairs that I stayed in because I was like,
Did
I'm
you?
making this thing like a Ritz Carlton bed. Like, I did the proper fold and I tucked the sheets
We've
all military.
we've not let anyone sleep in it since. It's made so well.
Yeah,
Taking pictures of it.
yeah. And then I think the other one was and I think this is the first time that Fur and I maybe didn't agree on something, and it was the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh my God.
Yes, this is you pointed this out, and we didn't want to talk about it because I didn't know what side you took. So you're on my side that the Kool-Aid Man
Now
is only
listen.
the Kool-Aid Man because of the Kool-Aid, right?
I don't think I think I'm a merger of both. And first said I can't actually take this side because he's like it has to be one or the other. He's either the pitcher,
Right.
he's the Kool-Aid. My thought is that the Kool-Aid, like the pitcher itself, is like the body is to you, and then the Kool-Aid is actually like the brain innards of the Kool-Aid. So
That's
like
fair.
if you take the Kool-Aid out, you got a dead pitcher. If you put Kool-Aid in it, you got a
don't have
functioning.
Kool-Aid.
You have Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So that's my thought is that it's
Sorry,
both
sorry,
combined.
sorry, Jarrett. No one still agrees with you. If you had to take a side, though, like, would you pick the pitcher or the Kool-Aid?
Yes, gun to your
I
head.
mean,
You
I would
have to
say-
pick a side.
You don't even have to have
I
a gun
mean-
to your head.
Whatever.
I mean, that's what it's going to take to get an honest answer out
Yeah.
of me. So,
All right.
I mean, I guess if I had to pick one or the other, I would say the Kool-Aid is the Kool-Aid Man.
No.
Yahtzee.
That's what I would say.
Buckets.
The
Thank
Kool-Aid's
you.
just a liquid. The
Sure.
pitcher is the eyeballs and the shape.
For I can
Picture-
kick him off if I need to.
Picture here's my argument for that, right? Okay. Picture your body. Inside your mind is the brain. That's you. That's actually you. The rest of this is just part of the structure.
Yes.
And so in my mind, the
and if I
Kool-Aid
bring
is
you,
the-
if I bring you my brain and my body that doesn't have a brain, which one are you going to think of as me? You're going to not even know if that's
body.
my brain or not, but you're going to recognize me from my body.
Well,
That's my argument.
Someone who is really shallow and really sticks to looks is probably going to be focused on. But when I see
Says
you
the
for-
guy
I
who
see
stayed in.
I say
Says the guy who
brain.
stayed
I
in the
see
room. It says the guy who stayed in the room that had a bunch of gals in it to make sure they were all okay while the other guy went down for security. Come
I
on.
wanted to make sure that they got everything they needed.
Okay.
Just doing my job. I was
That's
being good
service.
at it. Service.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, is there anything else I can do for you, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, hey,
Yeah.
escorts are people too. Okay.
To close us out, I've got a couple quick, just 2 hotel travel related questions. And I want to see of the 3 of you which gets closest. Question number 1. The world record for the Guinness. So we've had a Guinness World Record episode. Right? Did we hear
Yes.
that?
I think.
Guinness
Yep.
World Record episode. So I came across this. The fastest, Irvin, I'm going to guess you're going to get closest here. The fastest time to make a king size bed by an individual. What's your guys' guess for time? Irv, I'll let you go last because you're
What
probably
goes
gonna be
into
closest.
making? Like it has to be sheets on.
Everything.
Comforter on,
yeah. There's
pillows in
nothing there.
place.
Nothing there. So comforter, sheets, yeah.
Pillowcases even?
Yes. I don't know. I'm making this up as we go. Just making a bed.
Your entire show.
47 seconds. 47 seconds. Okay.
Rusty?
I'm going to say less than that. I'm going to go like 20 seconds.
Wow. Okay.
Something
Irv?
crazy.
I feel like it is something really crazy, but I thought it was something really, really fast. Like I'm talking like 10 seconds.
Wow. It's 1:09. So I think this is
All the
probably
way off.
probably
They have to
everything.
Yeah, they have to do everything.
Yeah.
So I thought
Yeah.
I saw a video too where somebody did this like trick where they flipped the sheets up or whatever. It was like one big motion, but maybe it was just the sheets. I don't know.
All right. To close out the night, we talked about a lot about high end, low end, spending money. What's the most expensive hotel room cost per night in the United States?
I will go. I guess I'll go first. I will say 40,000 a night.
Okay, I now actually even give the hotel room away, or the hotel away. It's the Palms Casino Resort in Vegas.
Oh, 20. I'll go 20. 20.
Cheap. Vegas is cheap.
20,000. 20,000.
You started
a
at
night.
40, didn't you?
I did, but then
Yeah, but you said most
Okay.
expensive. You said most expensive. I mean, there's a lot of
Yes.
factors to this.
Yeah.
Is this just in general in history?
Let me describe it a little bit for you guys. So
I mean,
it
like,
is
is
the
this
Palms
in season?
Casino. This is right now that I'm aware of. It's the Palms Casino Resort in Vegas. Don't be looking this up now.
No, I got an email.
It is 9,000 square feet. It's 2 floors. It comes with a chauffeur car service, $10,000 credit in the casino.
Jarrett, you're way off. He can't change his mind.
no. I should have stuck with my first guess.
And there's actually a 2-night minimum, so the value is going to be double what we say. But just per night, what's it going to cost?
Dang it.
Rusty?
I'm going probably to the extreme. I'm going to say like 80.
One night.
I'm going to say 80 grand.
Okay, Irv?
I would say if it's per night, I'd probably sit around like maybe 59 to 60, 61.
100 big ones, 100,000.
Jeez.
Dang.
$100,000, and you have to stay 2 nights, so you have to fork up 200 grand. But you guys get $20,000 credit to spend in the casino.
I have to fork up my house for 2
All right.
nights.
Apparently, I'm not quite the expert I thought I was, guys.
Oh, you're an expert, Irv. We appreciate you having you on. All the tips, all the advice. Hopefully, our viewers and listeners will appreciate it as well.
Yeah, this is fun.
It was fun. It was a pleasure having you on. Good to see you. We'll have to do it again. Well, thank you all. Irv,
Yeah,
thanks
have a
again.
good night.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Till next time, Not Exactly Experts signing off.